Jim, of course, joins us now right here in our Washington studios. Good afternoon, Jim.
Hello, Shaka.
I am terrific. You said in your report, among other things, that Mr. Obama has built a slight lead. You and I know, frankly, that public opinion polls are neither a science nor an art. Why should that be very important for us?
Well, I think that the Obama campaign would really like to emphasize to its supporters that to not pay a lot of attention to the polls. I think there are two scenarios here playing out, even though we have a month to go. For the Obama campaign, their real nightmare is their supporters do not come out on Election Day. He has a slight lead right now, but if they don't show up, it's still possible Mitt Romney could win. The nightmare for the Romney campaign, Shaka, is it's already over, that he's had a terrible 2 weeks. The convention was lackluster for the Republicans, and that those secret comments we just saw in the piece that you just showed have hurt him terribly. But look, the debates are a chance to restart this whole process, especially for Mitt Romney and the Republicans.
What about the ground game for either of the two parties? How is it proceeding from what you have been able to monitor?
You know, last week I was in the state of Virginia, close by here, but looking exactly at that, especially, for example, among Democrats and younger people, students at the University of Virginia. They seemed pretty determined to me, pretty businesslike, but they also acknowledged that excitement level we saw 4 years ago for Barack Obama as the fresh new face of American politics. It's not going to rise to that level this year, so they know they have their work cut out for them. On the other hand, I talked to some conservative activists in a different part of Virginia who are very much anti-President Obama, will come out and vote. You know, one of the interesting facets of this campaign from the beginning, the conservatives are lined up to vote against President Obama more than for Mitt Romney. One of the things Mr. Romney has to do tonight is to try to get people to warm up to him, including some people who may have supported the president 4 years ago.
What about the fact that, of course, there are people who say that it is, once again, the economy is stupid? To what extent does that work in the favor of the challenger, Mitt Romney?
That's an interesting question, because I think the whole starting point for the Romney campaign from the beginning of the year was all we have to do is make the case the economy has failed and it's Barack Obama's fault. That strategy so far has not worked completely, and that's a big story of this election campaign. The other story is the Obama campaign has been able to make it not just a referendum on the president and his time in office and his record on the economy, but they're making it a choice election. And they have made Mr. Romney, they've been out there early with ads all summer trying to depict him as someone who's rich, out of touch, a wealthy businessman who would take the country back to the time under George W. Bush with his policies. And they've had some success with that. So we now do have two competing visions for where the United States should go. And I fully expect to see those competing visions on display in the debate.
Most reports suggest that the competition which is likely to decide who becomes the president and who doesn't is really concentrated among a few states, and
right.
These are called swing states. Are swing states the same that are sometimes also called toss-ups or battleground states?
Yes. And, you know, a quick explanation, our elections are interesting. We have a national popular vote. That does not determine who becomes president. In fact, we've had cases in our history where the winner of the popular vote all around the country has not been elected president. Why? Because really we have 50 separate state elections for electoral votes. Each states get a certain number of electoral votes based on population. There's a total of 538 electoral votes at stake. The person who gets to 270 or above is the winner of the presidential race. The other factor is we have 50 states. About 40 of the states generally lean one way or the other. So they're not really competitive for the candidates. That leaves about 10 states. And these are called the battleground states, the swing states, where the campaigns spend most of their time, money, and effort, and where the election will be determined. And so the larger those states, say like Ohio, Florida, Colorado, these states where it's close, that's where you're seeing most of the campaign effort.
Can you give us an up-to-date as to how each of these candidates seems to be faring in those battleground states, Jim?
Right. Well, the national polls are interesting. The president moved out to a lead. He's still ahead, but the latest polls show the race tightening a bit. That's going to be an opening for Mitt Romney tonight and in the debates to come to try to get back into this race in a serious way. Where the president has an advantage are in what you refer to as these battleground states. States like Ohio, where he has at the moment, according to the latest polls, about an 8-point lead. Now that's important because no Republican has ever won the presidency without carrying Ohio. That would be a huge advantage for President Obama. He carried that state 4 years ago. But they're also fighting hard in states like Florida and Colorado, where the president has a narrow lead. So they're still in play. There's still time left, and that's where you're going to see the Romney focus and emphasis in the weeks to come.
What should we believe, again, these public opinion polls when you and I know, Jim, that there have been situations where a candidate is reportedly ahead in terms of public opinion polls, and come the real day that really counts, you find that they have actually been beaten?
Yeah, I don't think that happens quite as much as it used to. You can go back to Harry Truman in 1948. They actually stopped polling in the final month of the campaign because they thought his opponent, Tom Dewey, was so far ahead. What was the point? Well, Truman won. This time, though, the president has maintained kind of a consistent narrow lead now for several weeks. And the other thing, Shaka, here is there are fewer undecided voters at stake in this election than in most recent elections. There just aren't as many persuadable voters out there for the campaigns to try to pick off in the closing weeks. It's going to take something extraordinary, in a sense, for the Romney campaign to change the trajectory of the race. They're hoping the debates will start that process. Maybe it's an overseas incident of some kind that might affect this. But, you know, Americans are really focused on the economy. They're not happy with the economy right now. The question is, do they want to stick with the president for 4 more years or give Mitt Romney a chance? And that's really the opening for Mr. Romney. He's got to make a sale on that starting tonight to voters.
Final question, Jim. You talk about Truman, but what about in the early 1980s when I was a graduate student at UCLA, the mayor of Los Angeles, a one Tom Bradley, was ahead in public opinion polls until the day that actually counted. And guess what? It was Governor Duke Majan, the Republican candidate.
Well, you know what? It really matters who comes out to vote, because among registered voters, President Obama has a very big lead, but most of the polls focus on likely voters. We have a very narrow lead for the president on that, and it's really going to be incumbent upon the Obama campaign to turn out those young people, African Americans, Hispanic American voters that helped put him over the top in 2008, and that's where their emphasis is right now. The Romney people feel their voters are committed, basically because they oppose the president and are anxious to get out to vote this year.